All right, so we'll take a look at these now. So if we zoom in down here, we can see this one came around and it didn't join there. So if we investigate this a little bit, this one's got a negative 17. It is a polyline. So let's go ahead and make that 0. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. So just hit escape, select this one. Let's make that one 0. So we want these all to be at a 0 elevation. Now let's try the polyline edit on these. So if I pick that or double left click on it, right click and do join, I can pick that object and this object, right click, and it says 0 added. So there's still something that is keeping that from, connecting. So we'll try this method. Actually, if we zoom in, we can see exactly why. So that little overlap that's there and there is not letting this join. So we could go about this a couple different ways. If we notice that this one here is, joined, this one's not. So we could pick this and move it over here and then grip it and snap it back to that endpoint. And then if we try this, right click, join, grab this and grab that, it's still not there. So instead of fighting this, what we're going to do is I'm going to pick those two lines. Let's pick this line and make sure, let's set that one to 0. Okay. So we'll make sure that one's 0. Since this is a good line, we know we're going to break it here. Let's try the offset command. That way we don't have to fight with trying to get it to join. So I'm going to go up and under modify, there's offset. It's going to ask us for a distance. So we're going to get the distance. It should be 0.5, but we're going to snap from that endpoint to that endpoint. And you can see that it's going to offset it, right? So it did go in this direction. So it's asking us to specify the side for the direction. So we want it to obviously go to this side. So I'm going to left click there and then just press enter. And now we have this object. Now this object, if we look up here, looks like it goes all the way over to there. But we know that it doesn't need to. So I'm just going to move this over here. So right here is where we really need to, actually, we just need to break that segment off. So what I'm going to do is use the modify split command. And it's going to pick this here and right click for my first point being there. And then you can pick anywhere for the second point. And now I don't need this, so I'm just going to delete that. And then we have these other line segments. So what we want to do is move this to a different layer. But what we're going to do is we're going to temporarily turn off the top back of curve because that was what we offset, right? So we're going to say yes. And this was the one that we were having trouble with. So we're going to select that. I'm just going to delete that. And I'm going to turn back on that top back of curve. Now this one, we're going to go up to its properties. It's not top back of curve, it's bottom of curve. So we're going to go to 1A, basically 1AB curve, right? So for bottom of curve. So that was one way that we can fix that one. All right, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to use that same polyline edit command where we're going to do the multiple. This will help. So I'm going to right click and go multiple. And then we're just going to select all those. And then we're going to press enter. It found 7 entities. And we're going to join. So I'm going to right click and join. And then it gives us this gap tolerance. So let's go ahead and set that gap tolerance to 0.25. And that way, if they're not exactly connected, it'll clean them and fix them up. So you can see 10 segments were added to 4 polylines. So now let's take a closer look and see what we got. So this line here looks like it went and joined all the way up. So that one's great. This one here looks like it went and joined just to there. So let's zoom in on that vertice, and we can see that there's a little bit of a crossing or a gap. So it's probably minute. Like if we measure it at distance and we go from here to here, it's says it's 17 feet. If we look at this, um, but it's 0, 0 in the XY. So it's looks like there's an elevation in here. So if we pick this line, yep, there it is right there. So we'll make that 0, and it still might not join because it looks like, yeah. So if we, let's try the weld, and we'll weld this one. Oops. Try the weld command. We'll pick one and then pick the other one and press enter, and it didn't join. So what we probably want to do is just take this guy and we'll just slide it back to that endpoint there. Make sure that it goes to the endpoint. And that's probably why there's looks like maybe it's a little gap in there. But let's try the Polyline edit command again and just pick this. And we could use the weld since we did that one last. See if that one, try it one more time. We'll pick that as our base, and then we'll pick that one. And there we go. So that one, there we go. So that joined. So again, sometimes it's a little finicky, and again, it's just because it's just not, exactly connected. Then you want to go ahead and clean and fix those up. I think we'll do the same. We'll probably do the same thing up here that we did before, where we'll just go ahead and delete those, and then we'll just use the offset command. That way, we don't have to worry about trying to join it. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make sure it's at 0, but I'm gonna go to modify offset. Half a foot is what we're looking for. So, we're going to just hit enter to accept that as the default. We'll pick this object, and we want it to go to this side in here. So it kind of kicked it to the outside. We want to go to the inside. And then we want to make this and change the layer to top back a curve so that we can identify the difference between the bottom of curve and the top back of curve. And this was our 1A top back of curve. Okay. So now that we've got all the curb line, or at least the 1A curb line, what we need to do is now go to the 1B curb line and do the same thing, and the gutter pan. So we'll go ahead and do that separately, but you're going to follow the same procedure. So we'll actually show that in the next video too. So we'll show you how we do it, because there is an issue down here on this arc that we want to show you how to resolve. So we'll do that in a following video.